Hi, guys, welcome back to another episode Complex Like Wine, the podcast where we talk about complicated things and improve over time, just like wine does. We have another international guest. Please welcome Matt. He's tuning all the way from France. And we obviously have a little bit of a time difference. So we're both drinking teas. So, Matt, what kind of tea are you drinking?
This is berry tea, I think. It's like breakfast tea because it's 8 a.m. at my place. So I put some maple syrup in it and yeah, some red fruit tea, something like that.
Okay, that sounds pretty yummy.
Yeah.
I'm having a bedtime chamomile tea with a little bit of honey. So, cause
Okay.
yeah, it's 11 my time now. So after this, gonna get some rest. But no, thank you so much for reaching out and taking this time to chat with me. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course, yeah. So, listeners, just a little disclaimer, the trigger warning if you are dealing with some form of PTSD, especially when it comes to combat or military related PTSD, just keep in mind that's what we're talking about this week. So, if you need to skip this episode, it's more than okay. Tune back to next week. But if you're going to stay tuned to hear the rest of our conversation. We're happy that you're here. But yeah, so Matt is tuning in all the way again from France and he's in the army. That's why we don't have our cameras on, just to protect safety and all that. But yeah, and Matt, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of why we're doing this podcast episode.
Yeah. So, well, my name is Matt. I'm 27. I've been in the army for 4 years now, almost 4 years. I've deployed several times in a combat unit. So, since the beginning, I signed up in a combat unit. I specialize in mortar fire or machine gun team. So that's what I wanted from the start. I deployed 3 times. I did two long tours and one short mission. After my first long mission, I was diagnosed with PTSD, but I didn't took care of it at the moment because you're in the army, you have to get ready for the next mission and stuff like that. So it took time for me to realize I had a problem. Yeah, it's a problem. Your behavior change, and I had to work on that. So I started to write stories on Reddit on my own personal time, but that wasn't enough. So I started therapy not too long ago, and it's an ongoing process at the moment.
What have been some things that you've realized through therapy that maybe were a shocker or you were surprised to kind of work through?
Um, my psychiatrist, the thing, she proposed to me a therapy which is kind of EMDR,
Mm,
but more focused on the chronological events. We have to talk from the start of the events until the end, and we have to repeat that like maybe 10 times a session. And the funny thing is, I've totally forgot some details. And while repeating the same events again and again, I realized that I had so much memories coming back. It was a rush of emotions and memories, and it was incredible how the mind could suppress some of it. And that's the thing that surprised me the most because I thought, okay, I have my mind straight. I know what are my problems. I know what to work on. But in the end, it's not true. I didn't know about all the problems I had and all the memories that could bring trauma to me. So that was really surprising for me.
mm-hmm. I've struggled with PTSD as well.
Okay.
I would say my PTSD kind of goes back until like between 16 to 18 years old. I'm 26 now.
Okay.
But I would say majority of my childhood and even my younger adult years, there's gaps of I don't remember. It's all been blocked out subconsciously.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this about myself until I started going to therapy. And it's been interesting to kind of work with my therapist and reflect on what could have been the triggers, or even now if there's moments where I'm emotionally and feeling triggered, but I don't have a direct
Hmm.
memory correlating with it. It's a very interesting thing to work through.
Yeah, yeah, and it's crazy how the brain can protect itself, by erasing memories, just suppressing them. It's pretty crazy.
So, okay, how old were you when you first enlisted with the army and you had your first deployment?
I was 23, 24, something like that. When I signed up, it was just after my business studies. So I just got my diploma, and here I was at the recruitment center and just signing up.
And so I you shared with me you were on another podcast. As I definitely took a listen to it, and
Yep.
I remember you sharing that since you've been away from deployment, your fiance has been very supportive and helpful, and that's she was the one that encouraged you to kind of start writing your stories on Reddit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, she talked to me about podcast. I was kind of I didn't know how to, get into podcasts. It was just another world for me. And I was writing, and that was good for me. But yeah, talking to strangers about my own problems and about my own stories does make a difference, because you can write all you want, but once you're interacting with someone, it's another game, really.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely very different to be able to verbally express what's on your mind.
Yeah.
I've noticed a big difference for myself, whether it's journaling or even mentally reflecting. The fact that I can just talk to somebody, whether it's a therapist, a family member, or a friend, I it helps me so much more.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a game changer. Yeah, because I think writing is just uh, a stress relief kind of thing.
Yeah.
While talking, you have to, confront your own problems with somebody else's opinion, and it's a work on ourselves, I guess.
Right. No, absolutely. So I guess I'll have so when people listening on the podcast, Matt's going to share with us some of his stories that he's posted on Reddit, and I thought it would be really great for everyone listening to hear him read his stories because I took a glance at them already. I read a few of them, and they're impactful, and especially for us that aren't enlisted into some type of military branch or have experience with it. There's only so much we could try to comprehend or understand. So, yeah, Matt, I'm gonna let you take the lead on whichever one you would like to read first. But yeah, again, thank you so much for wanting to share your stories with us.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Really, I really like the way I can share my stories. It's a new way for me. So yeah, yeah, I'll be happy to read some of them.
Perfect. Yeah. So I guess, do you have one in specific that you want to share first?
I think first, I think about a sandy Christmas. It's about how people deployed can experience Christmas or end of the year festivities while deployed. And I think it's pretty worldwide emotions, that we share between soldiers.
Yeah, please take it away.
All right, I'm gonna start just a few moments. Just okay. A sandy Christmas then. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been deployed during the end of year festivities and spent Christmas away from your God given family, but surrounded by your army given one. You all know it has a certain taste. Let me give you my insight on how I experienced it. You receive your new orders and you will be deploying to the end of the year until the beginning of the next. It's not your first one, you're excited. Behind the excitation, you have this little voice that warns you about the talk you will have once you're home. You'll have to hide this excitement and understand what they are going through. They are worried, sad, and disappointed. Worried that something will happen to you. You dodge and play with life before, and you're going back like the lesson wasn't enough. They will wonder how long you'll be able to be lucky. They are sad. Sad because you'll be gone, and it will be hard to talk to you from another continent. Disappointed because, once again, you won't be here for the winter, won't be here for the annual family gathering. They dread the endless questions about how you're doing, where are you deployed, is it dangerous, when are you coming home, and obviously your annoying family member who did 1 year of mandatory service in a back shop in a sleepy base that tried to explain to them what you're going through and how they should be proud. You tell them that you're sorry to deploy again. You hope they won't remember that you've been in country only for 8 months before being gone again. You just have this sorry face and can't find the right words to help calm their words. You're not good at this. You're good at doing army stuff, but you are this incompetent man in social interactions with the ones who really matter. They are used to it, don't worry. As long as you come back in one piece, it will be alright. They know that they can't put everything on your shoulders because you have to be focused on the task to come. It's been a couple months now. Christmas is near and you're getting a bit tired of deployment. You have your habits, good and bad. The food is always the same, and if you can get your hands on smokes and alcohol, the night is better. You sleep better with a buzz. Chain of Command is trying to organize a Christmas party as to gather all the brothers and sisters together, esprit de corps. Obviously, Chain of Command will do a half-assed job because they were never trained to be managers, even though it's what they are supposed to do day to day. You are used to it and your small combat group is organizing its own party. Fuck everybody. You saved booze and smokes for weeks for this one night. Guard duty is boring and you just think about home and you're tired of that. You need that stress relief. One authorized opportunity to drink more than usual. You miss them. They are back home leaving for work for the Christmas holidays. They tell you how stressful work was for the past weeks, tell you all about the planning they have to go through to organize a road trip to the family gathering. You listen from a distant ear. You kind of shut down to protect your morale. You tell them you wish to be with them all, but is that really true? Think hard about it. I didn't think so. Only thinking about the rain of questions you would get. How will you have to stand at a nice dinner table, not smoke while eating and drinking, no trash talk, or a naked buddy dancing with his rifle just to make you all laugh? Obviously, you miss them, but you're not so sure how comfortable you would be in a social gathering like this one. They might ask questions like, how was it? Was it dangerous? Did you take fire? I hope you killed a lot of them. It was hard. Well, you signed up for this, dummy. You know that you have the same sorry face from a few months before. Your team leader is drinking shots of cheap vodka out of a 50 cal casing. Another is just video recording and laughing with tears in its eyes. Your buddy just got out of guard duty and is drinking out of the bottle. You're in the middle of this and looking around. You're with a bunch of weirdos, perverts, and surprising personalities in the middle of a foreign country where people outside of your high school walls wants to kill you. Yet, you feel safe with them, safer than anywhere in the world. They are your safe space. Chain of Command organized a secret Santa thingy, but infantry boys, being what they are, were just offering porn collections, dirty socks for the one with a fit fetish, OnlyFans, subscriptions, and second-hand flashlights. Chain of Command is horrified, but who the fuck cares? We're supposed to only drink beers, but we reek of whiskey and vodka. They know we know that they know, but what can they do to all of us? Extra pity? You have a buzz and your phone rings. Family is calling. You look at it for a few seconds, hesitating between doing what you should and what you want. You have that one night to have real fun with the boys, but family is waiting on your sorry face. You go in the dark part of the FOB where you have better internet, and you press on that WhatsApp answering button. The light hurts your drunk eyes and you try to make a good figure. They say, here's our little soldier. How are you doing? Happy Christmas. How is it going? Where are you? You look tired, etc. They all talked all together, and the one that matters holds the phone and looks at you. They know that you are overwhelmed by the others here. They get, in a few seconds, what is your mental state. They saw it last Christmas on the same frontal camera. You answer to what you hear. They are all happy, well-dressed in a well-lit living room. Your screen is the only light on your face. They hope you're doing okay and that you're eating well. They all tell you to be safe. They go back to their life. Merry Christmas back home. See you all soon. You hang up and you don't see shit in the dark. You just lay against this armored vehicle and light a smoke. You don't even understand what happened. You hear your boys laughing and you just walk guided by the comforting sound of your safe place. You go back to your life. Buddy who came out of guard duty didn't bother to get his gear off and just show the porn video he masturbates to in the bunker. We just hit him with beer cans while laughing, saying how disgusting he is, thinking about the time we did the same. One genius cook is making improv army rations and they are delicious. You drink more, you enjoy it because you don't have a lot. You sing Christmas songs and army songs. You obviously joke about how the other is gay because you'd rather suck a dick than do a second tour in this shithole. Life is good. You feel better when you forgot about home. You feel guilty, but that's the reality of it. You're back home. The whole family is here and you're the main focus point. Mind you, you like telling stories, so it's okay. You're smart enough to tell the correct ones. They laugh and you're happy that they can understand some of it. Do not close up. You slowly realize that you were protecting yourself out there. Were you angry because family couldn't understand what you were living? Saying always the same bullshit you've heard hundreds of times? It's not their fault. They don't know any better, and that's a good thing. You know it. Although you have your moments and that family member that tells you, hey, you say it was hard, but you signed up for this. Can't complain now. Fuck you. We all thought it, but kept it silent so that your girlfriend is not embarrassed, so your mother is not disappointed. In reality, fuck you. You simply lash out by telling a real story. You want to provoke and show how tough you can be. Don't bother. They don't know any better, and that's a good thing. You know it. You go back to your life. Life is good. They ask if you will be here next Christmas. You genuinely don't know, but you wonder. Merry Christmas. Is it better over the phone or with them? So yeah, that's a Sandy Christmas story.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing and reading that for us.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about the language used here, or it's just army stuff. It's nothing really really serious in the end.
Oh, no, no, no. You were totally fine. No need to apologize. I definitely dropped some cuss words here and there in the podcast. So it's all okay. Um, yeah, I guess now I just kind of want to break down from your personal experience because I remember hearing in the other podcast that you did
Mhm.
where coming back to civilization and interacting where that might have been hard, and even also you shared interacting with your brothers in quote unquote normal life would even be more difficult because the dynamic you had formed a relationship and social bonds with them is very different from what you would do to the day to day. So I would love for you to hear more about coming back from deployment. How was it transitioning back to everyone else that's like civilians?
Yeah. Well, when you come back from deployment, you really need some alone time, to just get back to normal level of emotions, I would say. Because when you're deployed, you're between a bunch of people, um, guys and girls who are on the same level of intensity, of emotions. So we don't have to talk anymore. We know each other. We live for a month together. We've been through combats and traumatic events all together. So we don't need to talk. When somebody is feeling down, we don't have to go over there and just ask him, "Are you okay?" Or no, we know it happens. If one of your brothers just cries because after combat or whatever, you just let him because that's the way he needs to express. That emotion. Some will get angry, some will just close up. It's just normal. But obviously, when you get back home, you can't do that. You have to match the level of emotions of the people around you, and obviously, the emotions are usually way down there. So you need some alone time, and I take some alone time with my fiance, of course, and she knows I have to get my bearings back. So she leaves me alone for the most part. We're together, but does not pressure me to do stuff, you know.
Mhm.
We always plan a party with friends, you know, as to celebrate me coming back, and it's a way to gather everyone and have a fun weekend. But it's usually a week after I'm coming back, so I know it's coming, so I can prepare for it emotionally, you know.
Mhm.
So I kind of prepare all the answers of the questions I'm gonna get, but it gives me time, you know. And you absolutely have to have your small circle of friends, you know, you the really close one around you. You know, you can't go and meet strangers, and it takes time. It takes a lot of time, depending on where you were deployed and how long. But we have, I think that's the main thing, we have to force ourselves to get out there, because if we always close up saying, okay, I need to take time for myself, and that's a good thing, but at one point you have to get out there too, because army isn't your whole life, you know. There's going to be an after, so you have to be social, you know. And that's what I'm trying to work on when I'm getting back from deployment.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. For, let's say, people like me or civilians, how can we be better about welcoming people in our lives that are coming back from deployment or from service? So what are ways that we can help ease the transition for them?
um Well, I don't think there's a good way to do that, you know.
Mhm.
Let me tell you about the two kind of people I meet. People I don't know, of course, but people I meet when I get back from deployment. You have the people who are excited about having someone who might have killed people in deployments, you know. You have those
Mhm.
people who are asking, okay, what was happening? Was there firefights? And you can see in their eyes that they're just excited, you know. They want something to tell their friends about, you know.
Mhm.
And you have the genuine people who are interested about your work, and they can ask tough questions. They can. I mean, that's part of the game, you know. People are interested in it, and when I was a civilian, I was also interested in all of that, and I wanted to ask tough questions to soldiers, and so that's, I understand all of that. But I think for people who wants to talk to people who deployed and wants to ease them back into the civilian life, you have to have an interest about what they're doing, you know. You can't just say, okay, I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know if there's trauma, so I'm just going to avoid any questions about that, because it will always be something that the soldier will think about, will prepare for, but it's never going to come out, you know. You can
Mhm.
ask him questions or her, and you'll see pretty fast if he's ready or if she's ready to talk about it. But ask questions, yeah, ask questions about what they're doing and how is it going, and how they experienced their deployment. Not necessarily detailed questions, but you know, an overall interest about their lives over there.
Mhm. No, thank you for sharing. That's just definitely enlightening for me and for people listening. Just to, that way we know how best way we can support. Um, I remember hearing on your other podcasts where for you guys over there in France, sharing that you're in the military, you can't openly be vocal about it compared to us in the States. We're kind of much more patriotic in that way. And I can imagine, especially when you can't be vocal or share your experience that much, and you have to hold those feelings or those memories a lot more personal to yourself, that can be really hard on you. Would you say that's correct?
um, I think there's pros and cons in both situations, you know, because um, for the US, from what I gathered talking to US soldiers and from my own perspective as a French soldier, when I see the US and how they treat their soldiers, um, I think you guys have trouble with PTSD and treating PTSD because you have the kind of a hero kind of thing, you know. If you're
Mm,
serving and you're deploying, you're a hero, you're doing that for your country, and you should be proud. And so when you get back home and you did some things that you might feel ashamed of, or you're not so sure it was the right thing to do, or you lived traumatic events, and when you come back and we all say to you, you're a hero, you did your job and you did the right thing for your country, that can be really traumatizing, you know.
mm.
Who are you going to talk to and explain to them that you're not a hero, you know, you're somebody who killed or was almost killed in some action. So I think the management of the trauma is more difficult in that way, because you don't feel legitimate because you are a hero, you know.
That's a really good point. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Of course, there
Yeah.
might be some other problems, you know, or inside problems inside the VA. But for France, I think we have a pretty good follow up after missions, mental state follow up, because we are no heroes. You know, we don't talk about anything. We come back from deployments, it's over. You know, nobody talked to us. There's no words in the news. If we get into firefights, no people in France will hear about it. You know, there's nothing happening outside of France for the matter. So you have trauma, you can talk about it because it's pretty secret. So it's easier for us to talk to talk about that to a psychiatrist. So that's the difference. But on the other hand, sometimes in France you feel tired because, you know, we don't need to be heroes, but a little bit of recognition from the civilians, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes you get out there and you're tired. And I'm not asking for your seat in a bus or stuff like that. That's not the thing, but just a little bit more of respect for the armed forces. You know, we don't have that in France. In France, it's always okay, but the French army, well, not everyone, of course, but some part of France are saying, yeah, the French army is, you know, still colonialism, rapist, like the war in Algeria back in the 50s, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem for me. That's the main problem. But you see, there's pros and cons, so have to deal with it no matter what anyway.
Right, right, right. Yeah, and it's thank you for sharing your perspective, because we, especially if we're only familiar with our own country and the upbringing, we don't really get to hear or gain that perspective from someone else. So this is definitely very insightful. Um, so yeah, share with me kind of more now with your experience with PTSD. Coming back from deployment. And, it's amazing to hear that your fiance's been a great support system for you and that she's been encouraging for you to, post her stories online and to talk with people. So I just kind of want to hear how, in the beginning, when you realized you were probably suffering with PTSD, and how you were able to kind of navigate that towards getting to a place where now, you've worked with a psychiatrist or therapist and can now are comfortable sharing your experience.
Yeah, well, the first memory I have from knowing I had PTSD was so I was back from deployment. Um, it was after a party, you know, with the close friends. And I was just taking a nap in my bed, and my fiance was she was reading a book next to me. And outside there was a carnival or festival, something like that, and they threw firecrackers and fireworks. So you know it goes pop pop everywhere, and I just woke up, you know, wide eyed, and I remember my brain just breaking into two parts. One telling me you're in France, nothing's happening, you know, you're back, so it's okay. And the other part was, no, there's a firefight going on. You need to get your guns, your machine gun, and you need to get out there. Obviously, I didn't have any. So I was like, okay, I need to get a knife. I need to get out there. You know, I need to get into the fight. You know, I can't just stay here. It's not possible. I need to get out there with my knife, my combat knife, and I need to fight the enemy. You know, and still my brain was fighting. And I remember seeing my fiance just looking at me. You know, kind of a she knew something was happening. You know, something was happening, but she couldn't do anything about it. And I don't know how long uh, that fighting inside of my head was, but maybe a few seconds. And my fiance just stood up and went to the window, just to see what's up outside. And I just jumped out of bed, and I grabbed her and just got her out of the window frame. And I was like, in my head, why would she not take cover, if there's a firefight going on? Take cover behind the window frame, don't stand like that. And I still just put myself into cover and just watching outside. I saw it was just a party outside, but still my mind was in the fight still, just
Mm-hmm.
checking if I needed to go outside and fight. And my fiance just took me in her arms and just telling me it's okay, nothing's happening, And so I just calmed down and I realized, okay, I have PTSD, that's for sure, because I brought back the mission back home.
Mm-hmm.
It's here with me. And me thinking that I was strong enough to just, okay, I'm doing my deployment and I'm coming back home and it's over and I'm gonna see the second deployment, it's gonna be okay. But at that moment I realized, okay, I'm not okay. It's just there's something deep down, and my mind is still in the fight mode, and I have to work on that. But I didn't work on that directly. It took time for me to convince myself that I had to do it, because when you're a fighter, you're in a combat unit, you have to convince yourself that you're going to fight no matter what, no matter problems you're going to face, and that was so personal that it was difficult for me to accept,
Mm.
so it took time before I went to see a psychiatrist and ask for help. It took time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How was your like psychiatrist and therapy sessions, if you don't mind me asking? Like how was the process for you with treatment? Because I know you mentioned earlier EMDR, and that was one of the things that my past therapist was looking into doing for me for my PTSD. So I'm kind of curious to hear more from your perspective on what that experience was like.
I had two different experiences, because the first psychiatrist I saw was a military one.
Mm.
So I was comfortable, but she didn't have any solutions to give me,
Mm-hmm.
She was like, okay, you like to write, so write. Okay, that was about it. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
like, okay, copy that, but why not? I'm lucky I'm not paying this session, because so I was like, okay. And I went back into training and getting ready for another deployment, and life was just, still going. And I got back recently from another deployment, and I took appointments in the private sector, civilian world. And I did my first therapy session. And at first I was kind of shy, because, you don't know how to open up. I wasn't raised when I was a kid as a, you don't have to open up, you have to be a man, the old school way,
Right, 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 right.
So I had trouble, but my fiance was behind me and telling me, no, you got to talk. It's okay to be a man and talk. And she's right. It's really okay. And I'd rather have a good mindset if I want to have a family. And I don't want to have the old school way of being a man and have all my problems all my life. That's not worth it. So I forced myself to open up, but I was really closed up, crossed my arms, my legs, and my therapist told me, okay, you're showing the signs of someone who doesn't want to open, so she was patient. She was patient, just letting me telling stories. So I was basically talking about the stories I've put on Reddit. That was the easiest for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she put them in order, on the timeline. And she was repeating all those stories and small details, and taking some small takes I had on about one story and just giving it back to me. And that's when the memories came back rushing.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm lucky, I think, because I have a really patient therapist, and I'm her first soldier, basically, who went into a war zone. So it was kind of new for her too, and she told me it was also hard for her because it's heavy. So she also had to deal with that, and we have a good relationship. We can talk, and I'm honest, and she is too, because she understood that I needed her to be really brutally honest with me. I don't need sugarcoating about anything. I need her to be straightforward about how I'm doing. If today I'm doing bad, I need her to tell me. I don't need her to just tell me, okay, yeah, you're getting better. No, I don't need that. I need to know where I'm going right now, and that's what's helping me right now.
Well, it's really great to hear that you and your therapist, you guys formed a good relationship, and it's good that you had someone patient to work with you and really try to understand your experience. That's really great to hear. If you don't mind sharing, yeah, I would love to hear your getting back home story. I know there's a part one and part two, but we can start with part one and then we can continue from there.
Yeah, of course. So for a bit of background, the getting back home story is just after my first long deployment. It was kind of a an experience, as you will see, as you will hear. So yeah, I can read the first part for sure. Okay, so getting back home, part one. Our plane landed on an African red dust runway. The dust stick to its dark gray color. It didn't even turn off its engines. We load everything from our bags to our weapons and ammunition. What's left of it, at least. It's time to head home. Mission accomplished? Yeah. They tell you that, but you have that feeling that you could have done more. Missed opportunities, near death experiences, sleepless nights, and uneventful days. If chain of command wasn't full of people scared to do something that might cost them a promotion, we might have been more efficient. No need to think about all that. We are going home. I am going home. Not so fast, soldier. First, we gotta land in a neighboring country in deep Africa for whatever reasons. You land at night and there's no one on the runway. An angry little French Air Force officer yells at you to get your stuff quickly and get the fuck out of the way. You go even slower. Who is this fucking cake eater? What does he know? You carry three heavy bags, your weapons, your plate carrier, and helmet. You carry 5 kilograms of dust and filth. Last shower was what, 5 days ago? One bottle of water was the best army could do for you, soldier. No need to think about all that. We are going home. I am going home. Unfortunately, they didn't plant food for you guys. We don't even make a sound. Always fucked, never surprised. At least you have water. There's a 10-person tent allowed to us. 45 of us. Oh, and there's no AC in it. We don't make a sound. We just put our bags where we can, laying against AC units that are cooling empty office. At least we don't have guard duty tonight. Hell, they took all of our ammunition. I had that. I've lived with those four for 4 months, and they saved my life, and you take that away from me. I'm too tired to complain. I just want to sleep. Another mean little person come yelling at us because we're sleeping on the ground. It doesn't sit right with this guy because it gives a bad image to the officers working in the area. The officers working an 8 to 5 job. They treat us like animals. We are not supposed to be here. They just want to pass us to the next guy so we won't be their problem anymore. We are the unwanted. Brotherhood is only an idea for some, it seems. I get angry. Those fuckers are the one who sent us on this isolated fob, hours from any allied forces. Now that we did our job, they don't want to deal with us. I'm disappointed. We talked so much about getting back, hoping for the food and the shower they would give us. Always fucked, almost never surprised. I lay down against the hangar and the light above me is flickering. I light a smoke and just sit there like the professional soldier I should be. Mosquitoes are hunting us and you hear hands clapping all around. We talk about when we're going home and how army is just a big fuck up party that is good at make us believe they're organized. French Air Force officer's mother had a few new lovers that night, it seems. We smoke all night and we share some army ration leftovers. The night is slow, and we talk about how our showers at home. Fuck water savings, I'm going to have a 45-minute shower. A warm orange sun is rising slowly on the runway. Artificial lights are fading in the natural light, getting stronger at every second. The airbase is waking up, slowly. I can smell eggs and bacon coming from the office's mess. Fuck, I don't drink coffee, but I'd give my last smokes for it. Another guy looked for us and find a herd of dirty and restless souls. We do not even stand up to salute. He has good news. They found us a shower unit and we will be able to take a quick shower. We better be fast. The water tank is almost empty. He also had bad news. They can't find our names on the passenger list for the flight back to France, obviously. We stand up and close on the poor guy. He's told that he better find us a place on that plane or this base is going to have 45 angry dudes that don't have anything to lose right now. Officer or not, he says he will do his best. I sure hope so. Still no food, still no rest area. We head for the showers. I plan to shower fully dressed because I need to wash my combat clothes. We laugh and push each other as to be the first in line. Our laughs are stopped pretty fast when the water turns out to be the color of dirt and goo and smells like decomposed meat. The first guys are yelling angry as they smell like roadkill carcass. Dead rats and other animals are in there because they forgot to close the tank. Always fucked, never surprised. We will learn later that this shower unit has been abandoned months ago but was never unplugged from the electrical grid. Guess I sweat for nothing while running to the showers. I am back on my bags against the hangar. The light is still flickering. The sun is up. I am wondering why did I sign up? Why did I abandon the comfort of a home, the loving arms of the woman of my life for this nonsense? Yes, my work has meaning for me. The disrespect I feel at that moment from the whole army is limitless. How can they treat us like this? We obey without asking questions, we endure for months, and this is how they repay us? I don't care about the money. I care about the brotherhood I believe in. I can't find it, and I'm sad. No need to think about all that. We are going home. I am going home. Fast forward a few hours, medics heard about the decomposed rat shower and made us shower and sterilize everything. Oh shit, they don't want cholera back to France. They find spots for all of us on the plane departing today. It's almost empty. Fuckers. Morale is going up. We are clean, on our way home, and food will be on the menu on the plane. Before boarding, an officer come and gather us. They are rerouting our plane to another Air Force base in France, tens of hours away from our unit base. They have to quarantine us and test us for COVID, obviously. They don't know how they will be able to welcome us concerning food and sleeping conditions. They did not plan for our arrival. Officers in charge are not on site. They don't know how long we will wait. Always fucked, never surprised. The plane home is the longest of my life. It's only a few hours away. Is that how they're welcoming us? We fucking left our country for months and they don't even want us back. I think about all that. We're not going home. I am not going home. We land and another French Air Force officer yells at us to get the fuck away from the plane and to head to a hangar. It's France in winter. It's cold and we don't have winter clothes. We are waiting for hours in this hangar, doors fully open for the wind to come in. We are alone. No one is here for us. They are waiting for nurses to come and do COVID tests on us. They will make us wait for 5 hours in the cold. No words, poking in the nose, no words, and we are on our way. They brought civilian buses to carry us to another hangar. We wait. We don't have smokes anymore. We're still waiting for the bus that will bring us home. We don't even talk to each other anymore. Disappointment will do that to you. Also, everyone is hoping and wants to talk about home. Better be silent than jinx it. Bus comes, we board, and we are on our 12-hour trips. Finally, I can't sleep. I look at the wheat fields on the side of the road, wondering if this trip back home will ever end. We arrive at my unit base at 2 a.m. Colonel receives us. He says, "Mission accomplished, boys. We're so glad to have you all back. Don't rest too much. Annual PT test in 3 weeks. We have another mission planned for you guys. I know you're all eager to leave again. If one of you do not answer his phone during leave, better believe that he will regret it. Captain, mandatory showers for everyone. You guys stink." Warming welcome on a freezing desert place in the middle of the night. No need to think about all that. We are going home. I am going home. So yeah, that was the part one of getting back home.
Yeah, again, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
When you wrote these and shared them for the first time on Reddit, how emotionally was that for you?
For this specific story, it was a mix of kind of laughing and almost crying because I was like, what the, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
This shouldn't happen, you know? This shouldn't happen. I couldn't understand. I still can't understand how they can be organized like that. I mean, 4 months to prepare for for the return of your guys, and still when you're there, nobody's taking care of us. So I'm a bit angry about that. Maybe a bit, still a bit angry about that because yeah, I was so tired from that deployment. And when you come back, and no one wants to take care of you. You know, you're
Mm-hmm.
somebody else's problem every time, and you're lucky to just bounce from here, from there, to just end up home. You know, just basically luck because nobody wants to take care of it, and that's the thing. And yeah, kind of angry. Yeah,
Yeah.
leaves a sour taste. Yeah, definitely.
Right, I can imagine. Would you say that experience or that feeling is pretty common every deployment or every mission you guys had?
Yeah, not at this level, but yeah, no matter the mission I did, it's always okay. We don't know when we're getting back home. We don't know how. We don't know where we're gonna land. So it's always the same thing, you know. It's like just don't share news if you don't have any. You know, it's like
Mm.
don't gather us all to tell us you don't know what's gonna happen. This makes no sense. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Like
just don't
don't
tell us. Yeah.
like don't get our hopes up, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So we're almost kind of starting to wrap up, but I would love to hear more now of like where you're at with, your mental health, your PTSD. If there's other people listening that are deployed or have been deployed or dealing with something similar, is there any insights that you would suggest or you would recommend for people?
If I could recommend something to, well, first to soldiers deploying, you can have PTSD even if you're not into combat. You know, the everyday military life on top of being in a foreign country where there might be danger, even if it never comes, you might have some danger. Your brain will get tired of it. You know, your brain will be on alert, and it won't stop because you get home. So take time to just, do some sort of a introspection, think about how you behave day to day. And it won't hurt to do one therapy session, just one test. You just go over there, do one session, and just see, and the professional in front of you will be able to see if there's trauma, um, when listening to you, because the way you're gonna talk and the thing you're gonna say first is gonna be pretty important for the therapist, and he will be able to judge if there's a need for you to come back. So don't take lightly things that shocked you, surprised you, or things that you think about day to day. It might be trauma. So yeah, take time, and there's no shame in sharing and working to be in a better mental state. There's no shame in that. It's to work on yourself, so do it.
I'm so glad that you said that. I think we tend to very easily downplay our trauma or mental health and
Yeah.
put up a front that we're doing okay and we're fine. And I'm glad that you said for people listening that there's no shame in, talking to somebody asking for help. Uh,
Oh yeah, no, there's no shame.
yeah, I again, yeah, that's great. Um, so yeah, where would you say you're at now with your journey?
I think now I'm comfortable enough to, talk to strangers about what I've experienced and the things I went through. So that was not possible a year ago, So, it's evolving, and pretty fast. I thought it would be slower than that. Um, but I'm putting in the work, like if I'm going to the gym or whatever, you put the work in, and it's the same for me in therapy session. You have to put the work in. So I have to prepare, and I'm happy now to go to therapy, because I want to get to the bottom of the problem, and that's the difference between now and at first. At first, I was kind of okay. I gotta go to therapy. I gotta talk to this therapist, and I don't want to do that because I don't want to think about those things. But now I'm happy to do so because I can see there's progression, and I'm evolving and I'm feeling better. So no, I'm really happy now where I'm at right now, and I'm sure I'll be happy in a few months too.
That's so great to hear. And it definitely makes me happy for you that you just saying the fact that a year ago you would not have been able to share this. And so the fact that you're here, reaching out to people, you're posting it online on Reddit for people to read. And the comments I was seeing on your post, there's people that are being positively impacted by this. So, huge kudos to you.
That was incredible to have such comments from the community, and I wasn't expecting that at first. And yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, and I hope for people listening that this inspires them to share because we're social creatures. Talking about what we're going through is so important and so beneficial for us. And, I know there's going to be at least somebody listening that's having a hard time. What maybe if they're having a hard time or if they've experienced a hard time
Yeah,
to share and open up that they're hearing you sharing this. So yeah, again, thank you so much, Matt.
yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure, really.
Well, any last minute remarks that you want to share?
Um, about mental health, if I had to say something, and something I realized pretty recently, let's leave the old ways behind. You have to be strong mentally and stuff like that, because my parents were like that. Strong mentally, never talking about problems, and in the end, they have problems now in their 50s and 60s. So let's be strong mentally by working on it. It's like the gym. It's the same. You
Mm-hmm.
want a strong body, you work out, and for your brain it's going to be the same thing. So yeah, go and be better and do better every day and work on yourself. Yeah, work on yourself. That's the thing.
Right, right, yeah. And progress isn't linear. There might be some days you feel like you're advancing and some days where you might be taking a few steps back. But as long as you keep showing up every day to work on yourself, that's what matters.
Yeah, and it's always going to be better than 1 year ago. That's for sure.
Right. Well, I really enjoyed listening to your stories and hearing the things you had to share. And I know everyone else listening is definitely going to enjoy this episode. And again, thanks for tuning in, waking up on your early Friday morning from France.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course, yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to post in the bio the link where you can read Matt's Reddit stories. That way you can read all the other ones. He has amazing stories to share. And if you haven't already, rate, subscribe, like the episode, share it with a friend or family member. If you know somebody or even yourself would love to be on the podcast and share your story, I would love to have you. And I hope you have a beautiful day by the time you're listening to this, and we'll see you next week. So, bye, guys.